Hey YouTube, this is Casey coming back at you guys for another financial video nugget. So today I want to talk to you all about a lending site that I've been using for about 3 or 4 years now called Lending Club. If you all aren't familiar with it, which I'm sure a lot of you are, it's a peer-to-peer lending site that you basically lend money from to your peers. You go online and people who want to take out loans for various different reasons go online, they fill out applications, and then based on their credit scores and their financial history, are allowed to borrow certain amounts of money up to, I believe it's $50,000. I believe it's 50. Don't quote me on it, but I believe so. 40 or 50, up to that amount of money with a certain interest rate, and then it's like any other loan. You pay that back over a period of every month with interest. So I'm logged in from the investment side right now, and here I'm going to show you guys exactly what my views on Lending Cloud, my experience with it, um, my annualized rate of return, my default rates, some of the suggestions that I think you guys could do if you're interested in going into Lending Club and kind of just what to expect overall. So I will try to be as thorough as possible. And if you guys obviously have any questions, comments, concerns, likes, all that stuff, please make sure that you comment below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. As I've told you guys, a lot more financial videos are coming your way. And without further ado, let's kind of get started. So, as you can take a look, this is the home page. At the top here, you have the summary tab, which shows it's kind of self-explanatory. It's kind of the overall view. You have your ANAR, which is your adjusted net annualized return. Mine is a little bit under 11%, which actually I think is pretty good. Some people are getting 13, 14, 15%, but I'm getting 11%, and that's actually without not even specifically um, allocating my funds to certain types of accounts, meaning customizing it. Um, my current adjusted account value is $441.97. Do keep in mind that I did have a little bit more than double than that. I had about $1,000 in the account at one point, and I was slowly taking some money out. I'm now starting to deposit some funds back into the account again, just to try to start building up that nest egg. And you can take a look and see that it shows here that the total payments, principal, and interest is 1295.13. Comes out to about 11%. I think that's actually not that bad. So as you can see in here, it shows developer cash, and then below the committed cash, which would be any cash that I've actually have allocated towards a note that hasn't actually been distributed yet to get started. This is pretty self-explanatory, the outstanding principal, and then the total account value. This would be for any available cash that's not yet invested, in addition to um, any cash that would be committed and so forth. Now, one thing to note is that with Lending Club, the available cash, they all get invested in $25 notes. So the $18.45, I can't distribute that into another note until I have at least $25. So I'm in the process of depositing an additional $500 that should be hitting this Friday in a few days. So once that hits, this is actually, what is this? Today is July the 9th. So once that hits in a few days, I will go ahead and then deposit that and then distribute that out. So if we take a look at the notes at a glance, this basically shows that currently I don't have any that are pending. They issued and current at 22. The ingress period is 0, which is good. Fully paid at 24. So there are a lot of people here who actually have paid off the notes early, which is great. I actually like that because it shows people are responsible, and that actually shows that this is what the system is doing, what it's designed to do. Borrow money, small interest. Hey, thanks for the money. We did what we needed to do. Here's your money back. And then, 5 accounts are charged off, which actually, if you ask me, if you do the ratio on it, was it 46? You got 5 here. It's a little bit more than 10%. I think I'm okay with that. Some people think it's kind of high. They think it should be around 5, 10%, whatever. The amount of interest that you generate based on the notes that are current should hopefully outweigh that. At least that's what lending clubs, that's what their algorithm is, and that's what their business plan anticipates. So if we take a look at the issued and current, I showed you right now that I do have some investment notes that are $50 increments. You can go beyond $25 increments. I typically like to do 25 because 25 keeps it nice and spread out. I've found in the past that, irrespective of what the interest rate is, whether it's an A note or an E note, they say that the better notes, the lower interest rate notes, the higher credit, what have you, higher credit scores should default less, which statistically has been the case. But I've had A notes and B notes default just as easy as the C's and the D's and so forth. All right, so again, pretty self-explanatory. Shows you the loan ID, shows you the note IDs. I'm not exactly sure what the differences are between these two. My guess is that this is the ID that Lending Club identifies for the loan itself, and then this is my individual note for my individual loan that I have accumulated into that pool. If you guys aren't aware, the way that Lending Club works is you put your money into a pool of money that then gets distributed to a borrower. So let's say if a person wants to borrow $15,000 to pay off student loans at a lower interest rate, well, you'll go there and then you'll decide whether you want to put in 25, 50, 75, $100, what have you, and then that money then gets put into a pool, and then once the pool amount is met, it gets distributed out to that person. As you guys can take a look here, it'll show you the breakdown of all the accrued interest that I've received comparative to the outstanding principal and then the payments received. If I'm taking a look at the better performing notes in terms of the best interest, you know, I'd say, looks like the C's are doing okay. Got some C's here that are doing pretty decent. Got some D's that are doing pretty decent as well. Some E's are looking good. So overall, relatively healthy balance, I think. If you guys know, I don't have any A's or B's in the note right now, in my section right now. At least I don't think I do. I think I may have a couple on the second page. Actually, yeah, no, I don't actually. I don't have any A's or B's into the note. I generally like to go for the higher interest rates. It really depends on your risk tolerance in terms of what. Oh, I actually have one down here. It really depends on your risk tolerance in terms of what you're willing to tolerate of potential defaults. Obviously, as the defaults go up, when a person defaults, you don't see that money; it's gone. You gave it to them for free. Lending Club does have an ability to where they can go back. Well, they do give people grace periods, and then I think it's after 90 days they then will write it off, and it's considered to be in default. But overall, my experience has been that when a person defaults on Lending Club, if you read the fine print, it states that they're not actually obligated to pay you the money. What they will do is they will actually pay Lending Club, or Lending Club will get some of the money back, but it doesn't actually go back to the investor, which I thought was a little concerning when I read that in individual and their individual um, kind of the individual prospectus. But I digress. Yep. So that's kind of what this is here. Again, go to the portfolio. I only have one portfolio. It shows here the average rate of return. This is if everything went well and no one ever defaulted, which we know is not the case. Go over to the activity. It shows all the activity that's happened. Actually, looks like they do have some recovery fees here from charge-offs, which I think is kind of cool. I don't know if that is from people paying them from. I'm not actually sure what the recovery fees are for. I don't. Hmm, I'm actually gonna have to look that up, people. Taking a look here, recovery fee. That's the total payment. Okay, actually, it looks like they have. Yeah, it looks like they've charged me a fee for attempting to recover the loan. Then we go up here to the total payments for the day. This is what I've actually paid out of pocket for the investor fee. That's the fee that you pay Lending Club, which is 1% of all your loans, at least the loans that are being actively paid. We'll go over to this tab and you can take a look, and it just gives you a breakdown of your total note allocation. As you can see, I'm heavily invested in C notes right now. For me and my risk tolerance, that's kind of the best balance that I'd like to look at. Some people like to just go completely conservative and stick in the A's and the B's. Some people say F that, I mean literally and figuratively, and just go to the F's. Really does come down to your risk tolerance. You do have the ability to go automatic reinvesting. I am not automatically reinvested because I like to actually manually. I've started now manually allocating where I'd like to have my notes go to. And then go over to the transfer tab, and you can obviously withdraw and add funds and all that good stuff. So Overall, if you take a look at the holdings, take a look at the principal, interest, late fees received, accrued interest, weighted average returns. I mean, 20%. Jesus, I wish I could get 20%. Overall, I'd have to say I'm very relatively happy with Lending Club, and I'll tell you why. Let me first say that Lending Club, and people have to understand this. This is an investment platform for money that you just do not expect that you're gonna need for years. So if this is not money that you're not gonna put money into this account for your savings. You're not gonna put in an emergency fund for this account because once you put money into the Lending Club account, you just basically need to consider it gone. For me, it's the equivalent of purchasing part of a building that you're getting small little micro checks on a monthly basis. You can just completely forget about seeing that money for at least a 3 to 4 year time frame. Um, and that's just so that you understand that the money is tied up, it's a liquid. You do get, based on your notes, you do get little small daily interest payments of $1 or $2 or something like that, or maybe $10 or $15, however, depending on however much money you have in there. But for all intents and purposes, if you put $1,000 in here and that's your savings, you can just basically you have no savings. Um, so you need to just be very, very well aware of the fact that when it's in here, consider it gone, forget about it as though you never had the money. I mean, that really is what investment is about. Um, so would I add more money to the account? Yeah, I would actually, and I'm actually in the process of doing that, and I think I'll probably slowly, over a period of the next few weeks or month or so, slowly accumulate to the account. One really good important note to keep in mind here as well is that if you do plan on putting more than $5,000 into the account, I strongly, underline strongly recommend that you put it into an IRA. Now, let me tell you why. If you put it into a traditional IRA, the way that Lending Club works is you're actually taxed on the profits at the end of the year as though it's at your regular income rate. So it's not tax deferred like it is when you own stocks to where you only have to pay when you sell. At the end of the year, Uncle Sam says, "Oh yeah, cool, you made interest, great. We need to get our 24% of that." I think it kind of sucks, but that's how the government chooses to tax Lending Club. If you put it into an IRA, then you don't actually have that problem. It's basically tax deferred, so the profits can just accumulate over and over and over and over again, and then you don't actually start to accumulate that, actually start to have to pay taxes on it to the government until you actually start to withdraw the money. Now there are various differences between the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA, but for me and from what I'm looking for, I'm going to put into the traditional IRA so that way I don't have to pay taxes on that until I want to start withdrawing from it. So in terms of also, oh yeah, let's go down here as well. Automated investing. Okay, if you want to do the automated investing option, you can do that. You can select to either go between the 60-month notes, I think was it 5 or 4 years, or the 48-month notes. I personally like to do 60-month notes because in my mind, like I said, any money that I put into this account, I don't even see it. It's for me, it's though I've never even had the money. And so I'm like, well, in that case, why not just try to get the best interest rate? And so therefore, why not put 60 months in there? So you can go in here, you can adjust your strategy. You can choose to just choose all the grades and let it pick for yourself, or you can choose a custom mix and kind of highlight, exactly, kind of play with the lever and let it, tell you exactly what you want to do specifically. You can also kind of go in and you can, let me see here. What am I going to say? Okay, yeah, 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 yeah. So that's with the automatic investing. If you go into the manual investing side, here's kind of cool because you can actually specify the specific loan amounts. If you want to do $100, and you can even go through and you can specify particulars in terms of a person's, in terms of the notes criteria. So you can choose, how much income you want them to have. You can choose a certain credit score, length of employment, so forth, so forth. We basically do these things to try to narrow down certain types of notes that you feel comfortable lending to, and things that you can do to try to help minimize your default risk. Nothing is 100%. We are at the top of that. I think everyone knows that we are at the top of the market right now of a very, very, very long bull run. So what I mean by that is that if you are going to put any money into this, and I don't care whether you have $100 million or whether you just sitting on $500, recommendation. I personally will be putting things into very conservative notes because I anticipate the market to have a pullback here, whether it's 3, 6 months, what have you. We're already putting the money away for 5 years, so there's going to be a big, there's going to be some type of recession at some point in the next year or two. It's inevitable. So when that happens, you really want to minimize the downside. And so I'm going to be putting into very, very conservative notes. And by doing so, I'm going to be going over here to, selecting certain criteria in order to do that to kind of help minimize the risk. When that does hit, there will be a higher increase in the default rates, and people who put their money into very aggressive D and E notes, and maybe even some C notes, may see a higher default rate. Who knows? You may lose everything. That's why it's investing, and that's why you have to be very smart about, how much money you put in. You only want to put in money that is actually investment money, not rainy day money. Not your only $1,000. This is money that you want to put in, when you got, money saved up and you're looking to kind of get started investing, and you're also not concerned about the money being liquid. That's a big, big, big thing, is that you're not concerned about the money being liquid. Outside of that, that's pretty much it. Overall, I'd say on a 1 to 10, I'd give Lending Club an 8. I do know that, some people, if you look on YouTube, some people have reviews and they say that they hate Lending Club and they hate the peer-to-peer investing model, and they want to take every single dollar out because they just, they could have put the money to the stock market, yada yada yada, and could have got 30% if you put it into, the spiders, or you put it into S&P index or something like that. And that is the case. But you have to also keep in mind that that would have only took place if you would have bought during the bottom of the market during the end of December, when the market crept out and started to bounce back in January. That's a completely different investment model and strategy than a peer-to-peer lending. This is more, I view Lending Club as more like an income-based strategy. This is something to where over time you want to put, two, $300. Oh, you know what? Yeah, you know what? Instead of me buying 15 lattes for the month, I'm just going to put my latte money into this. If you are gonna put money into Lending Club, I personally strongly recommend that you put money into it that the spending money, the money that you would normally put on some clothes or something like that, some consumer money. Maybe you cut back and you don't buy that Fendi purse, or maybe you don't go out and eat, 3 times in the week, and you saved up, and that's $25, and boom, that's an investment. So if you guys are looking to kind of get invested and you're trying to get some kind of safe returns, I think this is a great investment strategy. So thank you all for tuning in. Please do make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the like button. Please leave comments. I really, really do look forward to having you guys not only leave comments and likes, but please also comment and let me know what other videos you guys would like to have reviewed and other things you guys would like me to talk about. Other than that, thanks for tuning in, and see you later. Take care.